Okay, it is April 19th, 2022 at 5:15. We are in the chambers for the City Council meeting. James, do you have roll call?
Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Here.
Blatt.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Rudolph.
Here.
Thank you.
And I think you've all received an agenda. Any questions, anything about that, or any additions, deletions? Nothing, I don't think, is there? A motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Blatt, second by Kroger. Roll call.
Roll call. Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Thank you.
And you can state your conflicts along the way, if you have any.
I'll be abstaining from E on our consent agenda. I believe it's E, yes.
Which one?
E. Echo.
On the consent.
Okay, gotcha.
Wonder why. Consent agenda. These were listed, minutes of council meeting on April 5th, 2022. Claims list number 1264 in the amount of $179,747.04. Expenditure and revenue reports for the month of March 22. Police statistical report for the month of March 2022. Renewal application, Hy-Vee, Class B beer permit, Class B wine permit. Renewal application, Rocking Chair, Class C liquor license. Renewal application of Fairway, Class E liquor license, Class C beer permit, Class B wine permit, and Class B native wine permit. Motion for those?
Moved.
Second.
Motion by, I don't know blank who you are. Shaven. Looking right at the guy.
Rudolph.
Second by Rudolph.
Roll call. Shaven.
Oh, go ahead. Aye.
Oh, Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
All but E, aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Motion carries. And then we're down to present to be heard. Amanda with the library. Have some information for us?
Yep, just a brief quarterly update on behalf of the library. It's one of my new personal goals, is to do a quarterly update with you guys to keep you a little bit more up to date with what's going on. So, Gino will start us off on our next slide, and I call this awesomeness. So what you're looking at is just some of the statistics from the first quarter of the calendar year. We circulated over 9,400 library materials to the residents of Harlan and Shelby County. We had 75 new patrons start using our library. 1,149 patrons attended various activities, and again, this is just in the last 3 months. Over 3,000 digital items were borrowed from the library. We had 514 new items added to our collection. That's just our physical collection. That doesn't include any of our digital material. And our staff attended 63 hours of educational training. And some of that training is CEUs. Our staff go through a course through the state library. And so Elizabeth is working on her state library certification. We've had different programming roundtables, youth roundtables, where we learn about what other libraries are doing that we can incorporate. And then our state library provides summer library training on the new theme and what we can do to incorporate it. And then obviously safety training. So, and then our next slide is on some of the outreach that the library does. And so Homebound is one of the services that we offer, and so we delivered 91 items this last quarter through the Homebound service. 324 deliveries to our area preschools and daycare centers, licensed centers. Adult outreach events. We generally do 4 programs a month. We do We were only doing 3. We were doing one at Elmcrest, we were doing one at the Harlan Senior Center, and then Hanson House. But Elmcrest asked us, in addition to do their senior living program, they asked us to start doing one on their assisted living side. So we added a 4th program there. And then our Little Free Libraries, we continue to maintain the 8 here in Harlan. We have a volunteer who just started doing those again. So they'll be better stocked than when it's me trying to get out there and keep those updated. But then we also have one that we helped set up in Portsmouth, Panama. Shelby already had theirs, and then we helped set one up in Defiance. We encourage all the towns that we contract with to do Little Free Libraries. So next, we're going to talk about a little bit about technology. Obviously, one of the biggest components of the library is technology. So we borrowed our hotspots out 17 times over the last quarter. We had 701 library computer sessions, and over 6,600 sessions of our Wi-Fi were used in 3 months. So,
Amanda, what are the requirements on the hotspots? How do those get used or checked out?
they are checked out for a 7-day period, and anybody with a library card can check them out. We do require a little bit more confirmation, so when somebody comes in, they have to have their library card with them, they have to have their photo ID with them, and the address has to be what we have on record. The replacement value on an item like that is about $250, so we just went through a little bit more rigorous checkout processes with those, but we're already having people message us on Facebook and wanting to know information about upcoming vacations, because some of them have never used the library before, so they're going to come in and set up library accounts just so that they can use those on their travels this coming summer. So.
They can only check them out for a 7-day period, is that right?
Correct, yes, and then they have to wait at least 1 business day in order to check them out again. And we have 3 of those, and in the summer, we don't usually have any. Right now, for the first quarter, I looked at it, and that's about 60%. It's being used about 60% of the time. But in the summer, we have a waiting list on all of them. That's at least what we saw last summer. So, expecting it again this summer. All right, our next slide is just kind of wanted to touch on the marketing that the library does. We do a huge piece of marketing. I would say that probably 20% of my staff time for 5 positions is spent in some capacity of marketing. Whether that is making marketing materials, posting to Twitter, to Facebook, to Snapchat, trying to include all audiences. So we spend a huge amount of time using those. We still use the newspaper when it comes to certain target audiences, and KNOD for target audiences. And HMU, we're really happy that they are backing up and have their channel going again, so we can use their community calendar aspect of it. But it's a big part of what we do. So just always like to hit on that, because you don't think about, libraries do marketing? Tons of marketing. So Youth Connections, this last quarter we had lots of activities that we did. Family Fun Night, our 2 events were, we did Let's Paint, and then we had a Valentine's meeting for Family Fun Nights. Our Saturday, we did a Come and Code. That was a tween event, something complete, coding. I don't know what coding is per se, but it's something kids like to do nowadays. So we had an event for that. We do story time at Little Angels, and then we have done, we're still doing some Zoom story time with like Typer Tots, Head Start. We're doing deliveries, but we haven't done the story time with them, so it's still being zoomed out. And then for off-site events, we had a science fair, which we had a huge participation in. We had story time, obviously with the daycare centers. We had literacy night, that was huge. We planned for 350 people, and they had over 500 kids. So we prepped 350 activities for them to do. Everybody ran out that night, so it wasn't just us, but it was a lot of efforts, and it paid off. And then we continue to do what we call Farm Fun, and that is a partnership with Lois Hills Ag, and so very busy with the kids, and we'll talk a little bit more about the summer stuff that's coming up. Next, I want to talk about our adults. And again, we do the same thing. We have fun nights for adults. We've had game night this last quarter, white elephant bingo. We did date night bag crafts. Our educational events were, we had Jennifer Loeb come, and she did a climbing Mount Everest. She's one of the first Iowan to climb Mount Everest. So she talked about that process. Steph Kramer came and did an author program. We had a Humanities Iowa program that was about Native Americans. And that one was funded through Humanities Iowa. And then we also kicked off our our Great Reading Challenge for adults this first quarter. We have over 30 people signed up for the Great Reading Challenge, which is sponsored by Monogram. So we're excited about that. Current projects, we made an employment offer for a youth services clerk today, pending just internal processes, as well as custodian. And then we have our summer library program. I just kind of want to give you a peek at, real quick, this is just a piece of the youth side of it. And I just got that today. And one of the things that Emily's adding that I'm super excited about is doing what she's calling them pop-ups in the park. So we have a huge abundance of really almost brand new books that are donated to the library that we probably already have in our collection, okay? And so instead of sitting, we really wanted to have our bicycle mobile library ready, but we don't have the funding for it yet. So she's gonna do what she calls these pop-up events. So in addition to what we have planned on here, and this is what we're sending home with the 100 kindergartners that are going to be coming to the library in May, she's planning on putting up our tent in parks at 3 different times for a 2-hour period, and putting a rug out and encouraging people to come down and pick out books, and they can read them and then they can take them home. So it's to bridge that gap between the people who have nothing. That's what the libraries are for, is to provide books, literacy to everybody. So I'm excited to see her come up with that idea and put it in there. She's always coming up with new things, and I think it'll be exciting for the kids and a way to reach a population of people who don't have the resources for their own books. And then the last thing, I got 10 million current projects, but is the exterior maintenance, landscaping and music garden that we're working on. I had a meeting with Gene today, and so just got some of his expertise in regards to the public process of going about starting that project. So be looking forward to coming back in another, next quarter and talking about more of the summer library plans, and where we're sitting on some of these projects. So, questions that you guys might have?
Those were great, thank you.
It's a busy place.
Yep. Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
Then, is this like an update? J.J. Jensen lights, Harlan Little League and Monogram? Oh, I know that guy. Shaven. I just thought
Oh, Mr. Christensen. Oh, they got a different mayor, we can get him to speak now. Sorry, man. All right, I'll introduce myself for those who may not know me. Troy Shaven. Tonight I'm kind of representing a fundraising committee for the Little League, Harlan Little League, so I'm speaking on behalf of our committee. Also a city council member, and work with Monogram, and Tim Miller, our parks superintendent's here with us, part of the committee. So we kind of have a fundraising event we're kicking off, very large one. We're kind of looking at trying to raise $1 million, so pretty ambitious. What we want to kind of give tonight is the council and the public more of a idea of what the project really entails. Quite a few of us have heard it at the Parks and Recs meetings and kind of referenced to you individually, kind of brought up to you kind of the details, so when you kind of hear about it. So we're now ready to kind of hit the road and start our fundraising efforts. So we want to kind of give you a little bit of background. We came up with the theme of summer nights and ballpark lights is what our theme is. So how this kind of came about was through the generosity of our Monogram shareholders. Last August, our company was refinanced and our CEO got our shareholders to donate money back to our Loves Kids Foundation and kind of built up a nice nest egg of an endowment fund. So out of that, all of our entities in our communities are getting some funds to put towards a project. In our area, we got a $250,000 matching grant, and through conversations with the city, the school, the public, kind of in the community, we kind of kicked off the idea of doing the ballpark lights at J.J. Jensen Park. So all 5 fields. This would not include what we call Field 4 or up on the hill type field up there. So this would be the youth complex down below, the 3 fields, and then high school softball, baseball. So we kind of kicked that off, and that's where we're at. Obviously, we'll be seeking generosity from our community members for donations, contributions, and also seeking out grants and stuff like that through lots of organizations. So we're kind of, tonight's the first night we've really done a public presentation, kind of hitting up the school board tomorrow night. The chambers allowed us to speak at theirs, and I believe we're going to do the county supervisors, and if anybody else wants us to come to a small community group, we'll gladly come out and visit, kind of showcase what our project is and how we network together and share the ability to contribute to the project. So we kind of came up with Musco Lighting. It is kind of like on the city council's parks board wish list. Lighting has kind of been a wish list. I've seen it on our wish list almost 4 years. Obviously it's an expensive adventure. So we kind of saved our funds, and what the city did, we want to call this phase 3 at J.J. Jensen. So what we want to look at is phase 1 being the upgrade that we did, the city did for the backstops, the press boxes, the fencing that I think was completed last year. The fencing and the red topping was kind of all done down there. And then we look at phase 2, which is another group, nonprofit group putting the indoor batting facility in, training facility in. That's kind of phase 2. And we want to call this the phase 3. So we're being optimistic. We got a quote from Musco. So we have a quote that goes out through the 2023. So by the time we put in that and just a little bit of ancillary costs, we come up with about a budget of about $1.25 million is what the total all-in cost would be for all lighting down there. Obviously subtract out the $250K matching grant from Monogram, and we're left raising just right around $1 million is what we're raising. So if you kind of look at the cost breakdown a little bit, you got about $725,000 is for the 3 fields, the little fields. Then you got about $525 to do the high school softball, baseball. So that's where the 2 projects come together. If we put it in phases, it's about the $1.25 million. So we got a subcommittee of 10, or our financing committee, so I'll rattle them off real quick so I don't forget them all. Got Dan Kessers, who's the president of the Harlan Little League. Got Mary Peterson, who is our treasurer of the Little League. Todd Barrett, which I believe he is maybe a member of the Little League board. If not, he's also on our Parks board. Tricia Spanglingberg. And I got Heath Stein, baseball coach. Shayla Linen, who's a parent. Roger Kankel. Kay Goshorn. Got Tim Miller, and I got myself. So the 10 of us kind of got our committee built, and that's how we're getting ready to kind of spread the word. Some of the quick facts, which we just saw a little bit from the library, which we kind of think is interesting. It's projected we have over 20,000 visitors per year that go through the Ball Diamond Complex. Approximately over 250 games are played down there throughout the year. We have over 600 plus kids that are registered for softball, baseball. And the facility is utilized between March and October. So those are kind of some useful facts. Let the public kind of aware of the traffic, the tourism per se, the traffic getting out. And we're kind of hoping with this investment and contributions that we can increase more games down there. The Little League can potentially have more tournaments with the higher quality lighting, obviously, stuff like that. quick research shows that the original wooden poles were put in the 70s, and we believe the light bulbs were updated in 97. So we're kind of getting on 50 plus years. For those that are born right around 70, it's quick math, we know you're right around 50 plus of the age of the wooden poles, so we're kind of getting up there to where we don't want to hear the word timber.
Yeah, I know, we're all. Thanks for the reminder.
You're welcome. Make the correlation. So part of that is obviously an ongoing update. We feel instead of maybe generosity of our community, and instead of burden our taxpayers, say if we want to, if either school, not the school, but the city wanted to bond, so I think the right approach is generosity of our community here. So we kind of came up with the ballpark lights, and one of the other phrases that I love to steal from the school is join as one to get the job done. So it takes a lot of us participating, and so a little bit about it, kind of give you the equipment breakdown a little bit. Tim will correct me if I'm wrong. It's LED lighting, on off. App, it's controlled by apps, remote control, so you can shut them off whenever you want, turn them off whenever you want. Tim can do it, or someone else can do it all from their phone. So it's all that. So the other part we project, or we're given saying that these will save anywhere from 50 to 85% on utility savings. So that's kind of a little bit, I don't think we have a large bill per se for that, but it's a nice contribution back towards that. And we get they come with a 25-year warranty, the light structure itself and the light fixtures themselves. So we're kind of been asking around, a lot of people want to start hearing about this as we try to make more public knowledge, kind of ask for some like-kind services that can be done. One of the other things we're looking at into as part of the cost is potentially using, Musco offers a streaming service itself. So with the installation of the equipment, you can add on features to each of the facilities. So they offer their own streaming service that goes through Musco itself. So they have two cameras. They have one from the outfield, one from behind the plate. So the one from the outfield starts off first. So it zooms in, you can see the picture or pitcher catcher and all that in clear view. Then once the ball hits the bat, it switches over to a camera that comes on behind home plate. So the revenue opportunities there. Little League wants to charge advertising for that service. They go through Musco, but we think that's a very small investment. I think 10 or 12 grand per field, but we believe it gives our patrons or parents, grandparents, anybody who wants to watch someone play games can watch it from anywhere. And that's, like I said, we're not trying to compete with other HMU or Farmers Mutual who are streaming games. This one's obviously video only, there's no audio. But I think it gives an opportunity to utilize Musco's server to stream all the games, whether it's Little League, every game that's going on there, people have the opportunity to watch. So we think that's a nice, great added feature that's really no cost to the community or our local providers on trying to stream it, stuff like that. It's just built into the system. So,
A couple of other nice things about these lights. Next to zero light pollution. You know, that light pollution is that light that goes up that doesn't get used, but kind of affects everybody's vision, or you can't see the stars as much. Light pollution is kind of a big thing for me. So all the light's going to be going down instead of being wasted going up. And then with the app control, each field will have its own switch to where they can use their own, you know, if they're down there, they can turn the lights on. They don't have to use the app to turn it off. But we can schedule them that at 10:30, they'll shut off. If anybody watched the Lewis Central Dome game, it's kind of the same thing. So you gotta watch when you shut them off, but you can set it. There have been times where teams have left lights on all night. So that'll be a nice feature just to be able to make sure the lights are off every night. So it'll be very nice.
So we're ambitious, kicking off our efforts here, so I'm sure if you guys have any questions you can ask, or if anybody else, a lot of this material just for the general public will start coming out here in the near, within a couple weeks from now. We're going to have some information coming out on social media, maybe an article in the paper, some different other avenues where people will be able to see the information, and we'll kind of highlight the project on the Little League's website. We have a page on there, we're on earmark for kind of a little history lesson. We kind of talked about the history of J.J. Jensen, about the project itself, and how people can make a contribution, and also a project tracker. So, did I get within time?
Perfect.
All right, word for word right here. Well, appreciate it, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
It's a big project for you guys. Now we've reached the public hearing part, time and place regarding the plans, specs, and form of the contract for City Hall parking lot improvements. For that hearing. We had any input?
No comments or questions to City Hall since this was publicized.
Anybody else have any questions or concerns looking at stuff?
I will, again, just a quick visual. So this was, and we'll have this next after the public hearing, but so everything in the hashed area is new concrete, so that's what, and a little down here as well. The center area is going to be with our asphalt project, but that's the concrete removal and replacement. But again, the entire back parking will be, essentially the perimeter will be concrete, the center area will be asphalt. That's a visual of what the plans do look like that were reviewed last time.
Okay. So then do we need a motion to close the hearing and then look at the resolutions, James?
Yes.
So
Yes.
motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Rudolph,
Second.
second by Peterson.
Roll call Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Rudolph. Aye. Thank you.
And then resolution number 2489, approving the plans and the specifications and form of contract for parking lot improvements. And then review the construction bids and the bid tabulation. I think we've got those, I guess we've had that, but I guess we've got the bids this afternoon. So-
Yeah, just need to approve the resolution and then we can then review the construction bids.
So we need a motion on that one, okay?
Yep.
Motion.
We'll get motion out here in just a
Okay.
moment. Give you
Motion by
full
Peterson.
exercise.
Second.
Second by Blatt.
Roll call Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Thank you.
And then resolution number 2490, making the award of the contract. Which I think we all got that. This afternoon.
First of all, I want to review the construction bids, Mayor.
Okay.
If I may. What we had advertised was taking bids, and that was publicized. We had, more, at least on that plan list that our engineer shared with us, we had approximately 10 plan holders, did receive 2 bids. It's not uncommon to see that many people just open the set of plans and specs, but when the rubber meets the road, at 2:30 yesterday when we had the bid opening, there were 2 bidders that provided numbers for us. And this was sent out to you this morning. But the engineer's estimate was $33,370. The 2 bidders were 10 Point Construction out of Denison and Precision Concrete out of Atlantic. Low bid was 10 Point out of Denison at 32,014.84. That's about 4% under, which it's with the volatility and a lot of things going on in the market, all the way from, all materials, concrete included. We were pleased with that number. And that's where we would recommend that in awarding the contract to 10 Point Construction, which that would be your next item, but I would entertain any questions at this point.
No questions?
And at that point, then we
Then
certainly
we
can
can
do the
move on to-
resolution. Thank you, Mayor.
Resolution number 2490, making the award of the contract to 10 Point Construction of Denison for $32,014.84. Motion for that. Motion by Blatt, second by Kroger.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Blatt,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Thank you.
Must be ignoring Shaven over there. Sorry, Troy. Then, time and place for the hearing for, regarding the application for financial assistance to the Veterans Auditorium Facade Improvements Project, which we talked about this. Jane talked about it in our last meeting. We kind of had to put a few things out there and talk about it and the process. I guess this is the time and place to maybe talk about it a little bit more, I guess.
We haven't heard any concerns at City Hall from anybody, from my seat. I don't know, Jean?
Have not. I was going to share my administrator update. Well, I'll hold off on that. I don't want to get confused with projects here. But no comments or questions as far as this application for funding. Refresher, which we reviewed at the last meeting, was it's approximately $135,000 up to for this facade rehab refresher to the south side of the building, new signage. And once again, Jane and her team have done a great job of seeking out these grant funds when we can get up to 35% money. We should pursue this, which is why the required public process was to publish notice, and we've not received any feedback. So just need to reflect we've had the hearing.
Yes, correct.
And if there's no one here, Mayor,
Okay.
ask for other feedback. If not, you can close it and move on.
Hearing no other feedback, motion to close the hearing.
Moved.
Second.
Motion by Shaven, second by Peterson.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Blatt,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Thank you.
Under other business, resolution number 2491, resolution for engineering services with Snyder Associates for the USDA street project engineering services.
Did you all have an opportunity to read that
It was
60
great midnight reading.
Was that the Reader's Digest
66-page
version?
document?
Thanks, Tim.
Did we have to memorize it?
Yes. This was, another example with USDA funding, just to recap once again, that funding and matching funds towards street work is very rare. We applied for this late last fall.
Yes.
We didn't, notified we were awarded here in the last month. And what our plan is to make this our large street project next year. So it'd be next spring. And as the pre-engineering was done by Snyder and Associates, which was required for that application, which we got approved for, then the next step would be to get our engineering agreement in place to do final engineering, have plans ready this fall to go out to bid early winter for this large project. The reason for, with USDA, the reason this is a 66-page agreement is it requires an EJDC 500 form, which is a standard nationwide form of agreement. Our city attorney has looked at this. I did take one evening and read through all 66 pages. It meets all of our insurance requirements and all the other components in terms of design, bid, construction oversight. It just is a lengthier agreement to comply with this USDA funding stream. How's that for an overview?
Perfect.
It does include the fees, which were estimated even with the initial application. But if you got to page, I think it's page 99. It's stated on the, yeah, there we go, it's on the resolution itself. But the fees are $155,500. That's approximately 11% of the contract, and that is definitely within reason, not out of line whatsoever. So again, this is a $1.2, $1.3 million project.
The funding is $500,000 from USDA.
And then we're using some of our local funds in general, that we discussed. Happy to answer any more questions or look at page 32 of the agreement Greg would like.
I already have it memorized.
And again, our city attorney has looked at this as well.
Great opportunity.
It's a big
Yeah.
project.
So is there a motion to approve resolution 2491?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Rudolph, second by Shaven.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Black,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Item B is review the agreement for planning and preparation of the CDBG application for proposed sewer system improvements.
Would you like to touch on this, Jane?
Wait, this is just another funding opportunity that is through the USDA, and this is for sewer line.
This one's CDBG.
CDBG sewer line repair and maintenance. And so it's up to 600,000. And so we do have a lot of sewer lining and repair, grouting to do, and this would go a long way with helping us to attain all that lining.
And with our planned use of ARPA funds, which we reviewed with our budget, this would be in addition to the ARPA funds which are eligible use. And this could be a great opportunity. And the first step with this is there needs to be, as you saw in this agreement in your packet, is the first is an income eligibility study or survey. And once that's done, if we meet that threshold, we could then complete the environmental review and further application. The cost of this would be up to $5,000. If we don't complete all the steps, it would be a prorated amount of that. Yet, well, not yet. With that, we believe for opportunity of $600,000 that it would be a prudent approach. What else would you add?
That they won't go, at number one, if we don't meet that LMI threshold, then they won't continue with this. So they will only bill us for the portion in which they've done.
But that study has to be redone, is that correct? Is that
Yes,
how I read
every
that?
2 years, I
Yeah, ours
believe.
expired in January.
And this will not only benefit this project, but there's a lot of other projects where funding opportunities are available in which the same LMI threshold is required. So if this study is done and we do reach this threshold, we can apply for multiple other funding opportunities, which would be amazing. So it is kind of tick a lot of boxes.
So you need a motion to approve or to start
Yes.
this process?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion.
Second?
Motion by Peterson, second by Kroger.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Black,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Item C is review the permit for the fireworks display for American Legion Post number 150 with J&M Displays for July 4th, 2022. Is that just the standard, kind of what we've done in the past, Gene?
That was in your packet,
Yep.
got it up on the screen here. So it's the annual fireworks. Approximate time frame. No issues we've had in the past.
Motion for that?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Shaven.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Black,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item D is review the bid sheet for the sale of the millings.
Shared this with you last week. And recommending, would like your approval to move forward with this. We have between 6,000 and 7,000 ton of asphalt millings. There's a beautiful picture of that pile down on our yardway site. And millings, once again, are ground up asphalt from milling through our street projects. We use them on various public improvement projects, yet we'll never get through 6,000 to 7,000 ton. And knowing between this year and next year, we will quickly run out of room. There's an appetite for between contractors and people that do a lot of construction work, road work, that we would like to put this out to bid, take bids on this through April 29th, and then report back to you at the next meeting. It's been in our schedule of like picnic table rentals and chairs at the vets. There's been a schedule of $14.50 a ton that we've been selling, following that schedule for a number of years. Yet when doing this quantity, as well as we would, in this is to have anyone who purchases this to actually have the equipment to load and haul. So report back on bids at the next meeting.
Was there a minimum amount that they would have to bid on? Or just a maximum?
Maximum.
A maximum,
So we would
okay.
want to allow up to 5,000 tons to, again, at the present time, we do provide millings within town at $14.50 a ton with, if people want more millings on their alley, if they have a small construction project where we've delivered in town. But we have a large quantity.
So we have a timetable, we want them out of there then too? Does that have to be hauled out by a certain time if they get the bid?
We'll coordinate that time frame, but, and then within the next 60 days, we'll be more than fine. There's that time of season to, there's an appetite for these.
Kim?
Sharon, did you mean, is there a minimum price for the millings?
No, I meant for a minimum amount that they could take. I mean, like, can somebody bid on a 5-gallon bucket? I mean, I know that's ridiculous, but I just didn't know if there was a minimum amount that they would have to bid on. I don't use them, so
No.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, we'll be up to, I'll report back and provide a recommendation at the next meeting. And we'll put this on Facebook, we'll send it to a list of contractors.
Thanks.
So if somebody bids for 5,000 tons at a lesser price that somebody bids, 5 people bid on 1,000 tons, are we gonna sell it probably the highest bidder? Is that kind of gonna do it? or-
That's why we'll come back to you for your approval next
Okay.
meeting.
Okay.
We'll have all those results to share with you.
All right. Is there a
Which,
motion
you'll
for
see
that
the
then?
last bullet point there, which is, we would, the city of Harlan reserves the right, this is pretty standard, very standard language, that we're not forced to accept any bids, we can award them on our own terms. So, I think this is a public way to do it, give everyone the opportunity. And someone is interested in 5 ton, we presently sell them for, and they're within city limits, and they want them, we presently, that's been something we've done for years according to our schedule.
Kim?
Just as a comparative, if you're compared to if someone was hauling from Schilberg or over in Nebraska at the quarry there, you're paying $13.25 to $15 a ton, not delivered, on just gravel or aggregate. So this is a good substitute for that. And in this case, what we currently sell for $14.50. But I expect we'll see some bids that we can consider at the next meeting.
Kim?
Or we may have none, but I believe there will be some.
Is there a motion for that bid sheet?
Yes.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Rudolph, second by Kroger.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Black,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Item E, we need to receive and file the insurance committee minutes of 4/11/22. Is there a motion for that? Anybody reviewed those, looked at them?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Blatt.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Black,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
And then out of that meeting, F, Review the recommendation to renew the health, dental, STD insurance effective July 1, 2022. And the STD is short-term disability.
Yes.
Councilman Blatt.
Yes.
Okay, look that up for you.
The health insurance, and Sharon, you can chime in, you're on
I
the
will.
committee.
Yeah.
Health insurance, it was recommended for the 3.97% increase, and dental was recommended to the council at 11.2% increase. Short-term disability had no increase at all, so that remained the same. It was discussed in great length with the, we have 2 members on the committee from HMU, 3 members from City of Harlan that sit on that board.
Dental's a team member choice only, or is it,
Nope.
are we providing?
That's provided, the employee-employer split.
Okay. Get my company's mixed
Employees
up.
still pay a percentage of the premium.
Yes.
They do pay a percentage.
Yes.
Yep. If I may, just highlight, as Jane alluded to, our public utility and the city share the same, we're in the same plan or group insurance trust with 35-plus other members that are municipals, counties, and schools across the state. There's close to 3,000 members and almost 10,000 participants in that plan that we've been a part of since the mid-2000s. And it's a partially self-funded plan. And the last, so with the self-insured portion, that's what the committee, and we evaluate each year with our broker, is what's, a target threshold to keep in that in that reserve account or partial self-fund account. Certainly you want to have more than 100% of what your last year's claims were. And that's what was reviewed by the committee. And we're currently at 130, it was here in your packets, 138%. And through these evaluations, we could buy down that to a 0% increase or share in that. It was the committee's recommendation to pass all 3.97 on this year. The last 4 years on the dental, so just to clarify the 11.2%, you might see that and say, whoa! Well, the insurance, the dental premium has not changed since 2018. So since 2018, it's either been bought back down to 0 or just the claims, and you'll see, as it's reflected here, that the claims of cost of $33.8 versus $32.4 of just last year's experience. And so determined not to buy down and pass along that 11.2%, which the approximate employee family portion of that's about $1.20. So just to, again, put it all in perspective. That's all the comments I have.
The other item that came out of this, or that particular meeting, is not necessarily related to the cost increase, but there was also significant interest in creating some type of a wellness program, whether that be for city employees and HMU employees, but that interest was there in creating some type of wellness program. Don't know exactly what that may look like yet, but that committee will get back together sometime this summer.
Right.
And kind of do just I guess I would call it a work session, just to kind of brainstorm what that wellness program might look like. So.
Does insurance companies offer discounts on wellness type activities?
Perhaps,
Okay.
but not necessarily tied back to the insurance itself. So, what are some
It's not-
examples
yeah,
they
it's not a
talked about,
premium
like,
discount.
do like a point system, so if I have my yearly physical every year, like I'm supposed to do anyway, because my insurance pays for it, I get X number of points. I mean, that was just an example. Not saying we have to go that direction, but that would be an example. And perhaps those points then equate to a dollar amount of a refund or back toward the premium cost. I mean, that's the way I understood that, I guess.
To the employee.
So, but again, lots of things are out on the table, but there was interest in coming up with some kind of a plan for wellness.
Good dialogue is how I look at it, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, nothing that the insurance committee itself could solve. So it was a little bigger than just the insurance committee. But we kind of worked our way back to a work session later this summer, so. And that work session could also involve not only the committee members, but also employees, both city and HMU side, administrative people involved in that. Could be a variety of people, so to brainstorm about that. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And is there a motion for that recommendation then?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Shaven, second by Peterson.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Blatt,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
City Administrator's Report.
Touched on some highlights over the past few weeks. There's some active things going on. Some facility improvements down at the Vets Building. We had a pre-construction meeting there with some city staff, the contractor, and HMU staff. There will be downspout and concrete replacement and removal this spring. The plan to start here in the next week or so, so that kicked off this morning. It was good to have all of our field teams there on site to talk that through.
That's separate from the facade improvement project.
Yes, this will be on the east and west side there, so the Vets Commission and the manager there have been reviewing this for a number of months. And it's to improve the drainage and also the freeze and thaw and get water further away from the building, which is what that will do. On the construction side, the apron rehab has started, got kicked off last week. A couple pictures from this morning's meeting, where we had a commission meeting this morning and the contractors were out working. This will be a two-phase project. This is their staging area. They're active at work, and they did have a pre-pour meeting. So on phase one, this section here, they did a pre-pour meeting this afternoon, and they're, weather permitting, planning to pour that tomorrow. Set up a meeting with our Plant Iowa committee regarding, we meeting with them about trees that we have down in the HMU well field, which were planted about 15 years ago. And we'll be meeting with them in the next 2 weeks, our Plant Iowa committee, some HMU team members and city team members, to develop a plan for how those trees, or 75 plus trees that are more than mature now, that could be great to deploy in the community. So meeting with them to devise a plan for that. It's been discussed for 18 months and looking to put that discussion into action. So come back to you on that. The message out about the lifeguards. So a lot of social media, digital signage, so recruiting heavily for lifeguards. We've seen a few applications. Traditionally, they come in at the last minute, so not sounding off any alarms at this time yet, just reminding the public, as well as if you know folks or connections, to great summer outdoor income opportunity. Do need lifeguards. Just the Dream Playground Reimagined. Some of you have been staying connected with that. The steering committee, as well as our planners, have taken a step back, specifically re-looking at the footprint. and going out to 4 manufacturers, which we weren't planning to do till later in the process, to get a stronger number around the equipment costs, is probably the best way to put it. So that RFP to 4 manufacturers went out yesterday, and then the Green Playground Committee, Reimagine Committee will look at those along with the planner late May. Just a reminder once again that this is, the entire intent is to get a master plan completed by end of June, which, similar to all of other great, wonderful community improvements and park improvements, and be another opportunity between grants and local generosity to fund the Green Playground Reimagine in the next few years. So, and lastly, just wanted to thank those who attended, most all of you, the appreciation event for employee recognition. Really appreciate your presence there. I know the team does as well. I thought we had feedback from the team was an enjoyable evening. Nice words and rousing words from the mayor there. We had a few fun games, really grueling, but that event was enjoyable, and the staff seemed to enjoy it as well. It was after 2+ years of not gathering because of the pandemic. I think everyone felt that it was very appropriate and the time was now. So I appreciate your support of that and your presence there as well. And with that, I'd entertain any questions or comments you might have for me.
You did such a great job, nobody wants to ask you.
I was gonna ask about the DOT, but we'll leave that alone for till the next meeting.
We talked about that at the airport meeting this
Oh,
morning.
did
Yeah. And then another conversation I was in today too. Yeah.
So it's already been talked about, so leave it alone.
But
But I'm happy to address any specific questions you might have.
I'm sure I know the answer.
Okay.
Waiting the response.
Been that way for a while.
The next meeting, we will have in front of you the union agreement. So we've been through, the tentative agreement was signed back in early February, but we'll have that on the agenda the next meeting as we work through some final items in that contract. And we'll present that to you next meeting. The highlights are it's a 4-year agreement, and it leaves a very workable agreement for all parties involved. Expect that on the next agenda.
Okay,
That's all.
under the mayor's report, all I have from my area is Arbor Day. And my first official act that I get to sign my name to, I guess, is that today must be Arbor Day. So now therefore, Jay Christensen, Mayor of the City of Harlan, do hereby proclaim April 19th as Arbor Day. City of Harlan, I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And it ties in what Gene was talking about. I was just thinking about that. You know, we've all grown up in this area here, and I grew up, my father-in-law planted trees all over southwest Iowa, and you know, like you complain about having to mow around them and pick up all the leaves and all that kind of stuff, but we don't start planting trees, you know, that's 40 years ago when he planted trees, when I helped him do that, and those trees are big now, but we don't plant a few here and there. And we've got ash things, and we continue to work on that, and that's a statewide type thing. We're taking more down than we're probably putting back up. So I know every year that's a big deal. There are people out there in the community that really take this serious, and I appreciate them for doing that. I know my brother-in-law, like Doug Swenson's been a big part of that in the past. Just lots of people like that. I don't know if they involve the community, like the kids, high school kids, or how they do that, but I know they planted trees in different parts of the city, and we take for granted that they do that. And because we all want to drive down our city streets and have those big, beautiful trees, and sometimes they're going to go away. So that's all I have from the mayor's chair. Todd Valine, Shelby County Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Hi everyone, thanks for opportunity. Just give you a couple of quick reminders of things that are going to be taking place. On April 27th, that is Administrative Assistance Day, so just a reminder, we are having the Fun China Luncheon back this year. And it's $20 per person. You can give us a call at the Chamber, 755-2114 to do reservations. We'll just have one seating at 11:30 this year. Also this Friday at the Harlan Golf and Country Club, now this has been one of those delayed items, but we're actually going to have an ambassador visit, and we're going to welcome Crystal, the new manager of the Harlan Golf and Country Club, even though she's been managing since October. But so come by Friday, we'll be doing that at 10 o'clock. Reminder that Shelby County State Bank has a free shred day Saturday, so now that all your tax stuff is done, take it on down Saturday to the parking lot and let them shred it all up for you. MERTU does also have their Kids Fest this weekend from 9 to 11 at Vets. As for children up to age 11, there'll also be a bike rodeo going on at the same time that is co-sponsored by the Shelby County Trails Committee and the Huff and Puffers. And that's for kids 5 and over. They do need to bring their own bicycle. And they'll do some bike mechanics work with them. They'll do some maintenance work with them, hand signals, some safety stuff. And then finally, because this winter has been hanging on for so long, let's look forward to Monday, May 9th, when we're going to have fishing for fun from 5 to 9 out at Nishna Bend Recreational Area. So this is children 12 years of age. Come on out, have some fishing fun. We're going to have some meals. It's going to be great. Adults that are going out to join them, please make sure you get your 2022 fishing license before you go. And it's a limit of, they will also then reimburse you $20 towards your fishing license as an adult when you go on. So if you have any questions, give Public Health a call at 755-4422. But hopefully the dark clouds, the winds, all this wonderful snow on Easter, all this stuff will be gone, and we'll just have a great night of fishing on May night.
So no ice fishing, you're not an ice fisherman?
No, not really, no.
Just checking.
I am a fair weather fisherman at most, yes. All right, that's it from the chamber unless there's any other questions. Oh, all right, thanks.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks.
Is Ken Weber, HMU, you online?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, making progress on our raw water project. City reviewed the drawings and specs for making sure we can meet the floodplain and other types of requirements. So that project's getting close to being let, so we can put that out hopefully in June. That would be for the full package, piping, electric, wells, to go out in June. The other thing that's going to be coming up the next board meeting is our WAPA contract. That's our wholesale power. And we've been notified that we will have a price increase going into the summer. Due to the drought, their production capability is less than what's contracted. So basically the difference will be made up at market prices at the time. So the wholesale price will vary somewhat through this coming summer, but it's still very reasonable. We're getting ready and geared up to start our scheduled summer maintenance, where we go out and exercise water valves, gas valves, flush hydrants, that type of thing. We probably won't be doing the hydrant flushing in a noticeable period of time. If we don't get it done this spring, we're probably going to put that off until next fall, and may end up doing that in the evening hours to avoid peak daytime usage. So be a little bit different cycle, but we will still get that type of maintenance done. Our telecom and electric folks are working with Mediacom and Windstream to remove their infrastructure from our poles. And basically, they're both scheduled to be done with that later this fall, and then we'll probably contract to have those poles removed once all their lines and conduits and everything are off the old poles. So busy summer coming up, but we're getting back up on our staffing. We've hired a number of new employees and made a couple of promotions internally. So staffing wise, we increased our radius for response time to 45 minutes, and that opened up some additional communities that we were able to draw from for meeting some of our staffing needs. So that's all I have, unless anyone has any questions.
Doesn't look like it. Thanks, Ken.
You bet, thank you.
With that, any comments from the public?
I got one more.
Yeah, public,
Yeah, you don't.
because I just remembered your name. So. All right, go ahead, Troy.
So I got another plug for the Monogram Loves Kids. This is all separate from the lighting project. We have our annual grant applications now open on our website for the 2022 year. It's at the monogramfoods.com. You go to the website, then under the tab ribbon at the top, you'll see values. Then you click on that, you'll see the grant application. And trying to promote it a lot more, because what's different this year, since we bought our Denison facility, the Denison community will have their own grant application and awards. So we'll have more money that's more directed to our own Harlan community, since we typically won't be sharing with the Denison area. So I highly recommend anybody who participates in any nonprofits, the school, municipalities, kind of go to that website to help promote, write grants. It's a small dollar one, it's a large dollar one, to help promote it within our community. So I'd like to see we'd love to see a lot of applicants through that process and kind of reward our great community members who do generous things in our community. So it's an opportunity for us to give some money to that group, to those groups. So that's open on our website. I think it's open through June. But I probably wouldn't procrastinate and make sure you get done, because it's all done electronically online. So thank you for allowing me to plug.
That's a good addition.
Yes.
Appreciate what you do with your business you work with and your business. They are very giving back to our community.
So that's, I'll plug again, that's through the generosity of, not only team members can contribute to our Loves Kids, but to our vendors. So that is our Loves Kids, separate from the ballpark. Our Loves Kids money comes from our vendors who donate back to us to give back to their communities, and for those that we have an annual gala in Memphis, that's a live auction, live event, that's a large fundraiser. But so it goes through a lot of generosity that feeds back through, that we get to feel good giving back to our company and through that foundation. So it's fun.
Thank you. Any other input from the council? Nothing? Okay, meeting adjourned. Oh, well,
Nope, he said it. Can't
I can't look back over, sorry.
Appreciation and hats off to our fire department for their number of responses this last month, but the response yesterday in terms of multi-unit residential structure. So between them and our mutual aid was failure, but that was knocked down within 90 minutes. But just hats off to them, just all the training and support. But then when the bell rings and the pager goes off, that team rises to the occasion. So just appreciation to that group again.
Kudos, yeah.
How about congratulatory to our, was it level 2 fireman, Richard?
So they all passed, I saw. Is that right?
Most all of us, yeah.
Most all of
I
us?
did.
You did?
Yeah, we just have just a couple that just haven't done the test yet. Otherwise, everyone that's tested has passed so far.
Another accomplishment, and
Yeah.
appreciate their efforts and time.
It's not just showing up and putting on a hat. They have to know what they're doing when they get there. So.
Yep.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Second.
Second.